So what's going on, guys? DIY Dan here again, and this is another episode of Backroads Arizona. In this video, I'm going to be replacing the belt on my 2020 Turbo S. The reason I am doing this is I was up at the dunes and had to help a buddy get out from being stuck a couple times and got it super hot and just decided to go ahead and put a new one on and use that one for my spare. I'm also going to go over what I used for a belt removal tool since the Polaris toolkit did not come with one. Also going to give you a couple do's and don'ts and leave the cover off to show you how the clutches work as well. So let's get to it. So the first thing we're going to do is take the hose clamp off for the breather tube for the clutches off. You should be able to pull that off and twist it out of your way. Now we're going to loosen up all the cover bolts. Once getting all these off, the cover should just pull off without a problem. Once you get the cover off, you will need the secondary clutch spreader tool so you can remove the belt. Now, the picture of the toolkit that comes in your razor shows that it's in that toolkit. When I talked to Ride Now, they said it doesn't always come with it. Then I tried to get them to tell me the thread pitch of the bolt so I could make one myself, and they were very unhelpful as well. Could have just been the Ride Now that I went to, who knows. Anyways, after doing some research, I found that it is a 1/4 inch by 20 thread bolt, and you will need about 1.5 inches of threads. So I actually had a threaded bolt that was 1/4 by 20 thread in my garage already. However, if you need to go get one, Lowe's or Home Depot, and I actually think an eye bolt would work quite well. I put these two 1/4 inch nuts on it, so if I need to, I can put a wrench on it as well. I Loctited them and I double nutted them and cranked them tight. I don't think I'll ever need it, but I wanted it on there just in case. You're going to want to thread the tool into one of the 2 holes on the secondary clutch. Make sure you start it by hand before using any extra tools. So I was able to loosen the secondary clutch easily with just a screwdriver. So I threaded it in ways, tried to get the belt off. If I couldn't get the belt off, I just threaded it in a little bit more until I was able to easily remove the belt. You always want to turn the secondary clutch to remove and install the belt. Never turn the primary clutch. If you accidentally spin the engine the wrong way, you can jump the timing chain on the gear and cause serious damage. Always pay attention to the direction your belt was on the razor, even if you keep it as a spare. If it's a used belt, you want to put it back on the same direction you took it off. On any belt, there should be numbers or letters. I usually make it so you can read the numbers or letters when you're looking at it, and that will automatically tell you the direction. So when putting the belt back on, you want to put it over the primary clutch first. So when editing this video, I noticed a mistake I made. I started the belt on the top side of the secondary clutch and turned it clockwise. That's against engine rotation. Now the odds of it actually turning the primary and rotating the engine is very slim, but it would still be safer to start it at the bottom and go counterclockwise with engine rotation to put the belt on. Then all you have to do is loosen the secondary clutch spreader tool. So as you loosen the spreader tool, it should come out pretty easily because the belt usually will hold the clutch sprung, and then you will have to turn the secondary clutch 5 or 6 times to get it to push the belt all the way back out where it should be. So I'm going to start the engine up with the cover off so you guys can see how this works. So you'll notice that at idle, the primary clutch or drive clutch is small in diameter, and the secondary driven clutch is large in diameter. As you accelerate, the primary clutch collapses, making it larger, and the secondary clutch opens, making it smaller, which is how you transfer from low speed to high speed with the throttle. Once again, the chances of actually turning the engine over by turning the secondary clutch while putting the belt on is next to nothing, but why not go with engine rotation instead of against it, being as though it doesn't matter which way you do it. Make sure you check your rubber seal that it's still in the groove and in good shape. Also make sure there is no dirt, debris, or rocks in that cover before putting it back on. Belts are not cheap, and those clutches are very expensive as well. You're going into an aluminum housing with these, so make sure you start them by hand and make sure you don't over torque them. I'm just getting this on here, just barely, just to hold it there while I start the rest of the bolts. One other thing that I highly suggest is making sure you have the tools on your razor to do this process. I actually, the first time I took it off, I used the tools out of my razor to do this job, so I had practice. So if it happens to me out when I'm riding, I know exactly what I'm doing. This is one of the most common failures with a UTV. You're gonna wanna always have a spare belt on hand as well. So once you got all those bolts in by hand, you can go ahead and tighten them down. I love using the drill for this because I can set my torque setting and I know I will not over torque them going into the housing. My razor's only about 6 months old and I've already had to do one because of pulling somebody out and got super hot. One other quick tip to hopefully make your belt last longer, guys, is if you're running 20 miles an hour or lower, always use low gear. If you're gonna go above 20 miles an hour constantly, throw it up into high gear. You will slip the belt a lot more if you're running in high going low speeds. One sign of a slipping belt or it getting really hot is smoke coming out the breather vent for the clutches. The last step is just to put your hose clamp back on your intake boot and tighten it down. So hopefully you guys got some good information out of this video and it helped you out. If so, hit like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hope to see you next time. Have a good one. Later.